and that's how it's done. Hey guys! Okay, so today I just wanted to talk about how to deal with meat eaters. Alright, so basically my tips, so this is what I do at lunch. If you're in high school and you have to sit around people that are eating like all that nasty meat and all that other stuff, just pretend that it's meatless meat. Pretend that it's not meat. Pretend that it's vegan, because even though that isn't a permanent helper on how to deal with meat eaters, it's helped me a lot in the last few months. I don't know, it's just like, it's so hard for me to see these animals laying on people's plates and they think nothing of it. So I just really recommend pretending that it's not what you know it is. So in the moment you don't get frustrated and get like judgmental and rude and harsh towards them, because you really want to steer away from that. Because if you start to be harsh and rude and judgmental, they'll associate that with veganism, and then they will not want to be vegan in any way. So if someone asks you about it, inform them. Definitely 100%. Just say, you could start off by saying, yeah, eating meat is just so bad for our environment, and because scientists say that by year 2040, some of our oceans are going to be completely depleted of all fish. If you say something like that, which is true and factual, and you can back it up with like conspiracy and stuff like that, then you will make them realize that it's not just affecting them, it's affecting what they like to do. Like, people like to snorkel and look at fishes, and that's fun for some people. So if you relate it back to impacting their life, they'll be more into hearing what you have to say. So if you say, we'll have no rainforests soon in our earth, and within a year, like within years, because we are cutting down acres and acres of forests and land to graze cattle, and like if you say something like that, they'll be so much more willing to hear you, because they like those things in our environment. And if you want to be based more on health, then you could just say, animal protein is so bad for us, and that's because our digestive system isn't meant to process it, because we're naturally herbivores. And I know that what you're going to say, no, we're omnivores. Well, actually, that's not correct, because our jaws move side to side. That's what herbivores' jaws do. Our digestive system is a lot different than carnivores. We can't digest it as well as carnivores can. And then you could go to instinct and say, well, our instincts aren't to go out and just attack a squirrel and kill it and eat everything on it. Like, that's not our instincts, so that therefore we're not a carnivore. We don't have those carnivorous instincts. We're herbivores, and we always have been. And then you could say something like, and we have reverted to be eating meat because when we were cavemen, we didn't have enough fruit and vegetables and carbs and all that kind of stuff to maintain a healthy body weight, because fruits and vegetables and carbs and all that stuff, they're not as calorically, like, they don't have as much calories as meat, and so on and so on. So if you say stuff like that, they'll be much more willing to hear you. If you say things that are very factual and you inform them about things that are very specific, and then if you compare it back to their life, like I've had comments that say, like, this is so good. Oh, you can't eat chicken because you're vegan. And I'm like, yeah, I know, I love chicken. And then they'd go to say, oh, me too. And I'd be like, but you're eating them. So if something like that happens, how to deal with that is just to say, it's just hard for me because when you eat chicken, it's like, well, you don't really want to have this happen, but you can just say, revert it back to a relation that they can make, saying like, well, I love dogs, but I'm not going to eat them. Would you? Because you say that you love chickens, but you're willing to eat them. So you love dogs, and you're willing to eat dogs? Like, so just like inform them about more of that stuff, because they'll be willing to hear that kind of stuff, even though that last one that I told you guys might turn them off, because it's hard for people to hear the truth and make that connection. It really is. I've had a lot of my friends like yell at me, so I've had a lot of experience on how to deal with talking to meat eaters about veganism and why go vegan and why it's hard and all this other stuff, but not like why going vegan is hard. That is like the easiest change. Well, once you have like all of the food, it's the easiest change ever. But mentally it's hard because you know that all these animals are being killed by the second and you can't do anything about it. Anyway, I'm getting off topic. Okay. Next point that I had was cook meals for your family or like your friends or something and bring them to lunch, and then like after they eat them, say, oh, by the way, those are vegan. See, there's so many foods that you can make that taste just as good as any other food that you would have. Like using like eggs and butter and milk, you don't have to use those ingredients. You can simply use more natural ingredients that come from the earth. They're not born or produced. They are they are sprouted, and like it's more, there's such an abundance of fruit and all these other plant-based foods that are so much better for you too. So I think that's a main factor that you could do, just like a little thing that would make them more interested in what you have to say. And then, which could create a discussion for your family to talk about, and maybe they'll consider stop eating like eggs or take like those small steps as like stop drinking milk. As some of you might know, milk has pus in it, hen periods are eggs, and all that stuff. My dog wants to go. There you go, Tazzy. He sleeps in my room, so he's like always in my room. Okay, and then the next thing that I had to talk about was the most important thing that you need to realize is that you are doing the right thing. You are the person that is going forth and making these changes that most people aren't willing to make, that is going to save our planet and nourish our bodies, and like it's going to make more steps to revert the damage that the human race has already done to our world. So when we realize that what big a difference that we actually are doing, and we realize that we are doing the right thing, and we don't need other people to judge us, and we can just go about our lives and not focus on that and try to let it go, but also spread the message. That is a really good thing to do. So just remember, you are doing the right thing. You guys are amazing and you are so strong. Hang in there. Continue being vegan. If you need any help starting to be vegan or continuing your veganism journey, just let me know, because I'd be willing to help any of you. I know that it's kind of hard starting because you're trying to figure out what foods that you should eat. Like, I've had people ask me, can you eat potatoes? And I know that sounds so silly, but like, people are actually curious, and I feel like I felt the exact same way when I started being vegan. I was like, so what can I eat? But I knew that I needed to save these animals. I needed to nourish my body with these plant-based foods, these vegan foods, and I needed to help our environment. And so once you realize that and you make that connection and you're willing to do it, you will never stop being vegan. And if you're vegetarian and you're having a hard time, stop eating all the animal products. Well, just remember, the dairy industry is awful. Like, things that happen in there. Watch Earthlings, watch Conspiracy, watch Forks Over Knives, those movies. Okay, so Earthlings is more of what happens to the animals. Conspiracy is more environmental, and Forks Over Knives is more health related. So watch those accordingly to what you're more interested in, and realize that you guys can do this, and I believe in you, and you are so amazing, and I love you guys so much. Yeah, so I just wanted to let you guys know that, and I just made brownies, so I'm gonna go eat those because, oh my god. And then I'll be posting that video later, I don't know when, but anyway, bye guys.